All right, this is the second part of 7-2. I want you to start by making your make room for a table, a three-way table, a three-column table, and then I want you to make your X and Y axis, maybe about the size of your palm, but I want you to make a table so that you can do, it should kind of look like this. Okay, pause the recording, take the time, write your X and Y axis, label your X, Y, put arrows, and make your three-way table. All right, so in the first column, we're going to call that X. In the second column, we're calling it Y. And instead of writing Y equals 2X minus 3, I want you to write 2X minus 3 equals the Y, right? I just kind of turned it around. And now every time you do this, you get to choose your X's. Now what I like to do is keep my X's small, keep it low. I don't want to do a lot of math. I'm busy, I have things to do. I might like math, but not more than watching Netflix or not more than hanging out with my friends. So I don't want to do any extra work. So I keep it low. So I'm going to start with, when you choose your numbers, I usually like a negative, a positive, and 0. So I'm going to start with 1, negative 1. So I've got my 2. I've got a place to put my negative 1. And then I have minus 3. And what is 2 times negative 1?
Negative 2.
Negative 2 minus 3, what does that equal? Negative 5. So what's the ordered pair? Negative 1, negative 5. Now, you don't have to keep rewriting this ordered pair. Like, once you make your table, if you know to graph that X and Y, I wouldn't spend the time to write the ordered pair because it's implied when it's in the table. But I'm going to go, I start at my origin, which is in the middle. I start at the origin. And then I'm starting here. X is my across movement, so I go across negative 1, and then I'm going to go, which way is negative 5 going up and down?
Down.
Down 1, 2, 4, 5, and I place the point. So I'm going down left 1 and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put a point. I'm done. Keep going. I want a 0. So I'm doing 2 times 0 minus 3. This is my free point, right? Isn't that 0 minus 3 is what?
Negative 3.
So what is that ordered pair? 0 across, negative 3 down. 1, 2, 3. Next one.
7.
I'm going to hold off on that, but I'm going to go there. I'm going to keep it low because I like it in my field of vision. I'm going to try 1. 2 times 1 minus 3. So that's 2 minus 3 is negative 1. And so that would be 1, negative 1. And I'm going 1, down 1. And so now I've got enough to draw my line. I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to line it up. I'm putting arrows. Now working on the iPad, you'll notice it's hard to get my line on that point. So what I ask you to do is label 2 points. If you do that, because graphing's very exact. So what point is this one right here?
1, negative 1.
It's 1, negative 1. And that way, if I've got a fat pencil and it doesn't quite make the point, or my ruler slips out a little bit, I know where you meant to go. So I need you to label 2 points. And I'm going to label this one, doesn't matter which two. So that's 0 across, -3, and I'm done. I have my arrows. I have 2 points labeled. I found 3 points. I labeled my y-axis and my x-axis. Now, let's pretend I didn't get those 3, and I'm going to be a gom over here who really wants to be a rebel without a cause. Okay, Jimmy Dean. There you go. So, do you even know who that is, James Dean?
Yes, the dressing.
I didn't mean the sausage, Jimmy Dean. I meant James Dean, you know.
The giant cardboard cutout.
Yes,
It's really creepy, but like
All right, so I'm going to be a rebel, like a gum, and I'm going to try 7. So, 2 times 7 minus 3, what does that equal? 14 minus 3 is 11. So that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have to go up 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is this very exact? That's not very exact, is it? Now you did the math for it, but it's off your field of vision. So that's why I said keep it low. You probably could have tried -2, +2. -2 would have been -4, -3 is 7. Maybe it would have been on the boundary of it. +2 would have been 2, 1, so that would have worked. But 7, you're really kind of like pushing it. Does that make sense? All right, so you don't need to erase it. I need you to find 3 points. A negative, a positive, and 0. Okay? A negative, a positive, and 0. Sorry, I repeated negative twice. For any equation that you're graphing, I want you to try a negative number, a positive number, and 0. We're going to keep them low, so it's easier to graph for ourselves. And how many points do you have to label? 2. We have to find 3 points, but you have to label 2. Okay, questions? Did everybody write this? Well, any equation, those are going to be our rules. Now, as you guys get better at this, your tables will more so look like this. But when you start doing table method, you really need to visualize the information. Otherwise, you start losing. Now, is this point on the line? Let's convert that to a decimal. What decimal is 7/2? Yep, it goes 3 times. It's 6. I have a remainder of 1/2. So that's like 3.5, right?
yeah.
3.5. So when x is 3.5, substitute it in to the equation. Okay? And we're going to cross cancel. So we end up with what? 7 minus 3 is 4. Is that a point on the line? We didn't write it. You sure it is? Let's see. So this is really 3.5. And this is like 4, right? So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3.5. And then I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that in the line if I draw it? Yeah, absolutely. So what we choose is only like a minuscule amount of what's on that line. Okay? Yes, it's on there. There's millions of points. I can't choose them all. It's an infinite amount. These are just the ones I chose. Now, what I choose might be different than what you choose. I usually tend to stick right in here. Do you understand? We don't need to choose every fractional amount. Do you understand? I don't need to choose this one and this one. X is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. We don't need to choose those. Is everybody clear? All right, so we're moving on. This line represents every solution, every ordered pair that fits on the line, that goes on and on forever in each direction. All right, so now, what do I do to get my y alone in this problem? Solve for y. What do I do to get y alone? Ashton.
First, you have to know what x.
No, we don't have to. They're not saying solve for x. We want to get y alone.
You subtract 2x.
Yep, we're going to subtract 2x. Now, when you do that, I want you to list your 2x first. Always put the x term next to the equal sign. And then I have plus 5. Okay? Questions? Okay, I want you to try and get y alone for number 2. Pause the recording.
Y equals 2 plus
Wait, what do I do first?
I don't know if this is right. I divided both sides by 2.
Well, usually remember when we have a two-step equation, it ends up being, okay, let's divide both sides by 2 and see what happens.
Oh. And
Then it's an ugly fraction problem, right? So let's first, let's move the x.
add x to this.
Add x to both sides. We undo our addition and subtraction first.
Plus the negative 2.
And then I have 2y equals x minus 4. Now what do I do?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. Now, all terms by 2 means this. 2y over 2 equals x over 2 minus 4 over 2. Do you understand that that's what it means? We're dividing all terms. And what's the coefficient of x that I don't write, that I get lazy with? There's a 1 there. So really what this becomes is y equals 1/2, x comes to the middle, minus 2. Did anybody get y equals x minus 2? Because why, Ethan? What did you not do? If you got y equals x minus 2 as opposed to 1/2 x minus 2?
Well, I didn't put the 2 like for both. I didn't.
Right, you only divided it out of one term on that side. So remember, I just usually skip this step. And I go right to here. I write divide all terms by 2. Eric.
We have just left it y equals x over 2 minus 2.
I don't want you to leave it x over 2 because we're going to be graphing these. So right now we're using the table method. It's kind of time consuming and you've got to learn it. But for the most part, right after we learn it, I'm going to teach you a faster way to graph. And you're going to need this right here. You're going to need that 1/2 because that's going to mean your slope. That's your rise over your run and you're going to need it to graph. So don't leave it x over 2. Okay? Can I move on? All right. So do you want to practice this more? Or do you feel okay about getting y alone? Okay, so we're going to go. All right. So again, you're going to write this one down. And you're going to make sure you have enough room to graph it. Only this time, it's not, my y is not alone. So what do I have to do? Right? What do I do first? How about Ethan?
Subtract 3x from both sides.
Good. We're subtracting 3x from, we're subtracting 3x from both sides of the equal sign. And then I have a 2y equals, how do I write it? Good. And then what am I going to do, Trapper?
Go divided by 2, divide 2, what's that to?
All terms. And we get what, Trapper?
You get negative
Y.
y equals negative 3 x over 2
3 over 2x. Keep going.
plus
4 divided by 2? 2. Okay, so now I'm going to make my three-way table again. Okay, I'm making my three-way table. Give yourself room in the middle because we got an ugly fraction. Okay, so I have an x and I have a y. And what goes in the middle? Negative 3 over 2x plus 2. Now, how do I get my x's? I pick them. What do you think I'm going to pick? I heard 1. Okay, I'm going to try 1 or negative 1. What do you want to do?
Negative 1 and then 0.
Okay, let's try 1. I need nice points that I can find the intersection of two boxes. So if I choose negative 1, I've got this. Okay, that becomes 3 over 2 plus 2. Is that going to be a pretty number? That's ugly. I don't like that number that we chose. So what number would work that would give me a whole number? What? 2. I'm going to choose 2. How did you know to choose 2? Because it will cancel out. So the rule is you're going to choose numbers that are multiples of that denominator. So I'm going to say negative 3 over 2 times positive 2, and then I have plus 2. The 2's cancel. We're left with negative 3 plus 2. What does that equal? Negative 1. Okay? Now I've got a nice friendly number over 2 up 1. Okay, next one. Let's do a 0. I'm doing negative 3 over 2 times 0 plus 2. That's 0 plus 2. What does it equal? 2. So it's 0 across, 1, 2 up. What's the next one I'm going to try? What did I say? I want a positive, a negative, and...
Negative.
Right, so I need negative 2. Okay, so I'm a negative times negative makes a... The 2's cancel. We're left with 3 plus 2, and that makes... No, it makes 5. What? Oh, okay. So, negative the whole order pair, yeah. So now we are going over 1, 2, and I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa. What did I do wrong? 0, 2. Oh, yeah. Now, if your points are looking like this, and then you have 1 over here, if you have these 3 dots in a row and then 1's out, you have 2 problems. A, either you graphed it wrong, I graphed mine wrong, or B, your math is wrong. So you have 2 places to check. So you said this one should be 2 across, down 1. And now we're ready to draw our line. I add my arrows. I label my X and my Y. And then I'm going to say this is 0, 2. And this one is 2, negative 1. And we are done. This is the line that represents 3x plus 2y equals 4. Hovannes.
So the only time we have to separate y is when it's not separated.
Yeah. So sometimes they're going to give it to you and it's already going to be y's alone. But most of the time when we're graphing, you got to get y alone. Okay, yes, Ethan.
Does it matter which ones you like label?
No, doesn't matter what you label. Jacqueline,
Yep. 2 coordinates each time.
do you have to put what?
2 coordinates each time.
You have to label 2 coordinates each time. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Yes.
What if we do it with only variables?
What?
What if we do it with only x and y, with no variables? I mean,
Okay, so if it's something super easy, like let's say the equation is y equals x, I don't expect you to make a 3-way table. Do you understand? You can do, if x is 1, what is y?
1,
If x is 2, what is y?
2,
0? Negative 1? Okay, I don't think that you need to do that. If you have something like y equals negative x, now this sign means 3 different things. It means subtraction, it means negative, and it means opposite. So how you read this is y equals the opposite of x. So if x is 1, what's the opposite?
negative 1,
If x is 2, what's the opposite?
negative 2,
0?
0,
If it's negative 1,
1.
positive 1. So that kind of stuff, you don't need to put that center part. But when you have these fractions, you definitely should. So we said, how did I know to pick the 2? How did I know to pick the 2? Go. Right, so what's going to give me a clue?
The denominator of fraction.
Go. The denominator. Pick multiples of the denominator. How many points do we have to do? 3. A positive, a negative, and 0. How many do we have to label? No.
2,
2. 2 for labeling, 3 for doing. All right, so now I have this equation. Oops. What numbers are we going to choose?
3.
Multiples of 3. Because we want to cross cancel and get that exact number. Got it? So we're choosing. If I had something like y equals 4/5, actually let's go negative 4/5 x plus 2. When I make my table, what kinds of numbers am I choosing? Multiples of 5. Exactly. Don't worry about the negative. You can choose the negatives, positives, 5, negative 5, 0. And keep it low so it's within our field of vision. All right, so that is this. But I want to go through what's going to be on the test tomorrow. I'm going to stop this, and that's our video for today, part 2.